Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be bringing you guys a player/film breakdown of Washington football team's defensive end Shaka Toney, who they spent a 7th round pick on this year. I'll be giving you guys some background information on Shaka Toney. I'll give you guys his measurables. We'll go over his strengths and weaknesses and then get into a couple clips. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. Also hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. So let's get right into the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with some background information on Shaka Toney and some of his measurables. So as most of you guys know, the Washington football team drafted Shaka Toney in the 7th round of the 2021 NFL draft, and he was their second 7th round pick of the year. The Washington football team drafted him after they drafted William Bradley King, but Shaka Toney ended up making the roster, worked hard, and had a solid camp, and had a couple good preseason games that had him making the roster. Of course, he's out of Penn State. Let's get into some of his measurables. So he's about 6'2", 242 pounds. All of these numbers are from the pro day at Penn State. He ran a 4.52 40-yard dash, which is really good for his position. It's not Montez Sweat good, but it's still good nonetheless. He had a 39-inch vertical jump, which is really good, and he had 24 reps on the bench press, which isn't great for the position, but not terrible. So some background information on Shaka Toney: was born and raised in West Philadelphia, so obviously close to Penn State. Played linebacker and defensive end in high school, that position flex that Ron loves. And he ran track in high school, ran the 4x100, was pretty good at that as well. Was also a team captain in high school, and was a captain this year, or this past season, at Penn State as a senior. So those are the measurables, and he's 23 years old, of course. Let's get into some of his stats during his 4 years at Penn State. So played 4 years, like I said. In his freshman year, played 9 games, had 3.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. And then in his sophomore year, 10 games, 15 solo tackles, 5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble with 2 passes defended. In his junior year, 13 games, had 13 solo tackles, 40 total tackles, so by far the most out of his 4 years, and 6.5 sacks, no forced fumbles. And his senior year, he played in 8 games, but in those 8 games had 5 sacks and 1 forced fumble and 31 total tackles. So if, obviously they played less games because of the virus, if he would have been able to play all 13 games, he would have definitely, probably gone to like 7.5 sacks, maybe 8 sacks, with close to 40 or more tackles. He had a really good year this past season at Penn State. So now let's get into some of Shaka Toney's strengths and his weaknesses. So Shaka Toney, heading into the 2021 NFL draft, a lot of experts and analysts had him projected in that 6th, 7th round range. Some even had him in the 5th round, but I would say most people projected him to go in the 6th round. So the Washington football team got some good value getting him in the mid or late 7th round. So that's good value right there for the Washington football team. So on to some of his strengths. We'll start off with his strengths. Like I said, was a team captain his senior year at Penn State. Has really good speed. We talked about that. A 4.52 40-yard dash. That's really good speed and allows him to get to the quarterback a lot quicker than others. He's a very smart player. His defensive coordinator has talked about it a lot, how he's one of the smartest players he has and he's ever had, and he's always watching film, and he's great in the meeting rooms. He can help on special teams. I mean, one of the main reasons he made the roster over someone like William Bradley King is because he can play on special teams, and that speed, that 4.52 40-yard dash, really helps him with that. And reporters like John Keim reported that that's likely why he made the team, is because of his special teams. And I think he's the 9th defensive end right now, so he's probably not going to be active on game days, at least not if Casey Toole is healthy. If Casey Toohill is injured, then I think the first few games of the season, Shaka Toney will be active. But if not, then he's probably going to start off inactive. But once he's active, I think he will be playing on special teams a decent amount, just like James Smith-Williams did last year, and he'll start to ramp up, and eventually I think he'll get some reps on defense. He is pretty rangy, a pretty rangy player. He has a really great first step, and his speed really helps him get around those offensive linemen. And he's really explosive. I mean, that 4.5 240-yard dash combined with that 39-inch vertical, he has some really great athletic traits. So now onto some of his weaknesses. He just doesn't have great size to be an every down pass rusher. I mean, he's 200. He's, in that range from 236 to 244, and that's pretty small, and he's 6'2". That's pretty small for an edge rusher, an every down edge rusher, and that's why, there was some, talks about him possibly playing like Sam linebacker, a little bit of a hybrid role. That's what Jack Del Rio even said, like during OTAs and minicamp, but so far that's not happened. He's been pretty much just as an edge rusher, but he's pretty small for an edge rusher in height, but also in weight, so he might need to put on a few pounds there. Below average strength, and that goes with the size. He's pretty small, and he doesn't have great strength, so sometimes you can see guys, offensive linemen, just bully him, at the line of scrimmage. So that's something he needs to work on. But again, once you get to the NFL, you can start building strength, and it's just going to take a little bit of time. It's going to have to put on some weight and build that strength up. It might take a couple years. He plays a little bit stiff in his hips, so that's a little bit of a concern, and he needs to improve a little bit of his countering skills. You guys can see some of the other things from Lance Zierlein. Most of this stuff I was picking up on from when I was watching some clips and highlights and film, but this is from someone who actually knows what he's doing, so you guys can read some things right here. But overall, I really like Shaka Toney. I think he's going to be in this first year, mostly on special teams when he is active. But once, late in the year or in his second and third year, I think Washington will use him as a, situational edge rusher, third down, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. We know they're passing, 2nd and 14, something like that. When we know they're passing, I think we'll have him on there. He's a solid, run defender too, but I'm not sure, at least with, his size right now, if he can be an every down pass rusher. And also, we'll see, maybe they will use him a little bit as a linebacker as well. So far, though, they haven't, but that was something brought up by Jack Del Rio early on, in the offseason. So now let's get into some clips from his time at Penn State. All right, so let's get started with this, quick film breakdown. Again, I'm no expert. I'm just showing you guys some clips that I found that I thought were interesting. Some good clips, and there's like one, maybe two bad clips from Shaka Toney right here. So you're going to see right here, I'll show you a few clips of him using his speed to get around the offensive lineman, and he's able to bend the edge back to the quarterback. So we'll see a few plays right here from Shaka Toney. I mean, the biggest trait with him is his speed. I mean, he's got really good speed for an edge rusher. 4.5 is pretty good. It's like I said earlier, it's not Montez Sweat speed, which is a 4.40 at 6'6" and like 260 pounds, but it's still very good nonetheless. So you'll see right here, I mean, most of the times he gets the quarterback, he's just going right around the quarterback. You'll see him do the same thing right here. You're able to use his hands, just bulldoze the offensive lineman, the same guy, and get to the quarterback. I mean, that's really good use of his hands right there, and like he was able to right there, his strength was, helped him out right there. So it's not like he's weak, but he just undersized right there. I really like that play from Shaka Toney. I'll show it one more time. Just a great play right there from him. I think we have like one more right here, able to get around the offensive lineman and get to the quarterback. So I want to go to a few more clips right here. All right, so in this clip, you'll see Shaka Toney right there with the arrow, obviously stunting inside and providing a little bit of pressure to the quarterback. So he's doing this multiple ways. So you'll see it right here, stunts inside and able to get a little bit of pressure to the quarterback, because the quarterback had to throw it quickly because he went inside. I love that play by him. Washington does this a lot, so it's great that he's doing it in college at a pretty high level. I'll show you guys one more time. Able to get in there, they have to double team him and forcing the quarterback to get it out pretty quick. Alright, so I think we have like one or two more clips for you guys. So this is one of the bad clips right here. You see that, like, we saw a clip earlier where he used his hands and his strength and he was able to, just blow by the offensive lineman. But right here you see how, sometimes his size, his lack of size hurts him a little bit. He just gets, absolutely pancaked right there by both tight ends right there. That just, again, his size, at this size, it's gonna happen sometimes, and he just needs to get a little bit bigger. He doesn't need to put on 20 pounds, but if he puts on maybe 5-10 pounds, and especially 5-10 pounds of muscle, I think that'll really help him out in the long run at Washington and allow him to play more than just a third and long or just situational pass rusher. It'll allow him to play more than that. Alright, just a couple more clips for you guys from Shaka Toney at Penn State. Again, I really like Shaka Toney. I think, as he's a really good player to have as your 9th defensive lineman. He might not help you too much in his rookie year, but he's got a lot of potential, and I think, that he will be able to be used a lot more later on in the season and next season at Washington. And they can also, like I said, possibly play him as like a hybrid, defensive end, but also sometimes a little bit of a linebacker, because a lot of people have said that, including Jack W. You see him get his arm on the quarterback, and that affects the pass right there. So like I said, like him, and glad he made the roster, and he might contribute on special teams right away, and eventually he'll get some defensive snaps. So let me know what you guys think about Shaka Toney overall. Do you like him? Do you like that he made it over William Bradley King, and how much of an impact do you think he will have in his rookie season? Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video. I am so hyped for this season. 1 week away.